right, you are still watching Prime Morning. It's time for us to have this conversation. And I'm not doing this alone. Of course, you've seen him seated by me. My name is Rosalind Felly. He will introduce himself to you.
Mike 2 of Adobe FM. Mike 2, baby.
Yeah, as this is a holiday edition, we are, adding some icing on the cake, and that's how we're doing it. Now, this segment is quite interesting because I've always seen her on television. I've always heard her voice on radio. I've always wanted to have an opportunity to have a tete-a-tete with her, to get to know all that was happening in her home when she was growing up. We've seen her father, we've heard about her father. Today we celebrate her father and we honor her father. But she'll tell us every nitty-gritty of the things that we don't know about.
That is right. That is right. We want to know more, particularly when she was a kid, how she also enjoyed the father, whether she really saw the father being the president or not. So we have a lot to tell.
I don't want to speak too much. We just want to introduce her to you. She's looking so beautiful this morning. Samia Nkrumah.
Thank you.
How are you?
You are looking good yourself.
Thank you. Please, what's your secret? Because you look so young. Like you look like
oh, I wish.
Are you like 32 years?
Oh, I wish. You have to double that.
Wow. Really?
Almost, yes.
Wow.
Double the 32?
Double the 32.
Almost, yeah.
Wow.
So 60, 61.
Yeah, I wish even.
But you look beautiful.
Okay. Yes, I mean, everyone knows my age.
Yeah.
I was born the year we became a republic.
Oh, that is
so you can you can do the maths.
I think she said that's a lot of exercise.
Well, yeah, good thoughts, good approach to life. That helps, definitely.
Wow.
We celebrate your father today. Today is his birthday.
Absolutely.
We heard he never liked parties.
Oh, okay. But I remember children's parties in Flagstaff House on his birthday. So, yes, he wasn't really a party person, but he loved children.
Do you think he would have loved a party today?
A children's party, yes.
Not for him, right?
No, we always had friends and we were always in the midst of children, and he always allowed us to play around him, even when he was writing or reading, so I remember those mornings and evenings we were running around him. He never said shh, oh, go away, you are making noise. No.
Thank you.
Yeah, so did you really see your father when he was a president? Did you see?
Are you saying did I see him in action?
Yeah.
Well, I saw him mostly at home. But once in a while, he will take us in the garden of Flagstaff House to his office. But I also saw some bad things. Which of course I remember mostly because they were a bit traumatic. And as a child, if you see something difficult, it stays in your mind. So I remember the 1964 attempt on his life in the gardens of Flagstaff House.
So those times, was it the castle?
No, we had moved to Flagstaff House, which is near what is today Jubilee House.
Oh, okay.
For the younger ones who don't know.
Because we know of the castle, so we don't know.
In fact, two of my brothers were born in the castle.
Oh, okay.
So we used to be there, but then we moved to Flagstaff House.
So you were how many?
We are 4.
Oh, okay.
Professor Francis, our most senior, eldest, and then we are 3 from the Egyptian lady, our mom.
Okay, so from the same line, that is same mother?
Same mother, same father, we are 3.
Oh, okay.
2 men and myself.
Oh, okay. Are you alive?
Yes.
Oh, okay. We thank God.
We thank God. Yes. You're good. It's important. Yeah.
It is. Samia, let's come home to Daddy.
Yes.
You said you saw some bad things about that happened that still remains with you. How was the attempt like? Talk about what happened that day.
Okay. Obviously, we didn't see the attempt itself in action. But what we did see, our brother Gamal, who was just he's a year older than I am, and myself, is our father walking into the house covered in blood. His white top was blood and his cheek was almost falling out. And of course, later we got to know what had happened, that his trusted bodyguard got the bullet and died immediately on the spot, Salifou Dagati. And our father had a scuffle. He was wrestling with the assassin. I mean, miraculously, I mean, he ran to him, maybe in a moment of surprise that he missed his target. He was a bit disoriented. Anyway, our father rushes to him. There's this cattle. And our father pins him down, calling for help. And in an attempt to escape, the guy bites his cheek out almost. So those were the things we lived with, you know. In addition to of course, the good life, if you like, as children of the president, the head of state, but we also had this other side to our life. So by the time the overthrow of his government happened, I think mother was not surprised that early morning. I mean, that's another day we remember very well. As soon as she heard the gunshots, she immediately said, this must be, you know, a military takeover. And of course, there was a fierce gun battle between the coup soldiers and the presidential guard. And we heard it all. And
what time of the day was it?
That was dawn, very early. Yes, yes. And the battle went on for a while until I understood, because I eventually met when I returned. I was almost 6 years old.
Okay.
Yes. When I met Colonel Zanrego in Upper East years later when I returned, he had told me, yes, that they had decided to die the last night. That's the presidential guard. They had made up their mind. They are going to fight till death. But then there was this statement or threat that if they don't surrender, they are going to attack the house. And of course, we were there. Our mother, our nanny, Auntie Nora, and of course, the three of us. So that's when they decided to lay down their arms. And we were ordered to leave, and and many things happened. But I'm writing about all this, so I don't want to give you all my secrets.
Don't give us all the secrets, but the viewers watching, see how we are actually immersed in it, how we are enjoying it. That's the same way our viewers are enjoying it, and we love that you're speaking about it. But I just want to know, when you were taken out of the house, where were you taken to? Did they hold you captive?
Yes, we had a little adventure, meaning that we were taken from one point to another, and we ended up in Burma camp. So when we say taken, we were, of course, ordered by soldiers to move from one place to another, get out of the car, the gun pointed at us, sitting in the jeep, the gun pointed at the nape of our mother. So all this was so, you know, I mean, I was crying the whole day.
What was going on in your head? You thought you were going to die?
I thought they were going to separate us. My immediate and most disturbing thought that made me cry non-stop the whole day was that thought that we are going to be separated. So every time they order one of us to get out of the car first, I'm thinking, that's it. You know, they had taken my brother somewhere, taken mother somewhere. But I must admit, they did not harm us at the end of the day. I mean, that's a child looking at soldiers with guns pointed at us. They did not harm us. They were terrified themselves. I could see and feel, yes, I could see young men. You could see they were sweating, trembling. The guns were shaking in their hands. So it was, yes, it was one of those things. It would make an excellent movie, I think.
It definitely will. But were you traumatized? Did you need
Absolutely.
any kind of, you know, therapy?
Well, we did not get that, but we were, and of course, particularly, I think our older brother who remembers the most, Gamal, he was a year older than me, but when you're a child, the year means a lot. We were traumatized. I don't know, maybe we needed therapy, but at that time, you know, we were not so big on mental health and all that. But we use means, the normal means we have for healing, prayer. You know, we are Africans. We are, as our father used to say, we are spiritual beings. So you pray. I don't know. I moved on. I got over it, and I put it in context, and I understand. Those were the travails of newly independent states, because as we gained our independence, that wasn't the end of colonialism. You know, that was the end of formal colonialism. I
think she was very smart at that time, because at the age of 6, and she is able to recall all those happenings. You were very smart at that time.
I was an inquisitive, curious child who had a good upbringing, and so yes, I think it would have been strange if I wasn't smart and inquisitive, and it would have been strange given the upbringing I think we had. So
there's a lot of thoughts running through my head. Let me ask you the tough
Please
question.
Do.
When they took over, what did they tell you about your dad? What did they say he was?
No, on that day, I don't remember them speaking about him. They were just confused, not knowing what to do with us. So they were just taking instructions from the superiors, I guess. What do we do with them? Where do we take them? Blah, blah, that kind of thing. So in all fairness, nobody spoke about our father, at least in front of us. But of course, in subsequent years, and even when I returned, when we returned in 1975 to pursue our education, at the invitation of the Achampong regime, by the way, that they said they will honor our father, take care of us, and give our mother a house, and so forth. So anyway, it was then that I had negative comments about our father for the first time, and they were pretty ruthless. He squandered our gold. He did, even from teachers in Achimota school. Yes.
What did they say?
One economics teacher who, mercifully, I don't remember the name, but said, yes, we are sitting there in class, and she says, oh, and Nkrumah squandered our gold, and I don't know, did what and what. And I'm thinking, oh dear, I was too shy and helpless and, and intimidated to even be able to defend our father to my teacher. And so we heard a lot of these denigrating comments. He amassed wealth, he did this, he did. And of course, we knew very well, being his own family, that was far from the truth. Even the house, the land was given to him, the house which he built with the help of strong women supporters, entrepreneurs at the time, which is today Pidwasi Lodge, where I was born, that could have been our house, but he gave it to the state. It's the property of the Republic of Ghana, receiving dignitaries just as he wanted it to be. So we, from personal experience, we knew that our father didn't amass wealth. Our father wasn't interested in those kind of things. In fact, he was a leader who exemplified courage, sense of purpose, vision, all the things we long for and we need to emulate in our lives. I mean, leaders across the board, all kinds of leaders.
Your father didn't have a house?
He did not. Strangely, incredibly, he did not.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was a decision. Like everything he did, it was a political decision. Yes, I have a very interesting story about how those same women who helped him with the house, the construction of the house. Of course, it was much smaller, by the way. Over the years, it grew, so it wasn't so opulent, But they were very angry when he gave it back to the state, because they wanted him to have a place to go at weekends and, with his family. And he explained to them, So everything he did was studied, was deliberate. He explained to them why he had to be above, superhuman almost, because, he had to ask he intended to ask some of his ministers, close associates, to resign because of malfeasance. And so he had a reason for everything he did. And the fact that he decided not to make money out of politics was a deliberate, studied political decision.
Like, do you want to?
So the previous government or presidents, we have lots of allegations that they have amassed some wealth, building some or having houses or others in abroad, everywhere. Is it because the family wasn't able to identify properties of your father, or it was just that he didn't build anything or any house at all?
Oh yeah, no, he decided not to. We knew that. Our mother used to talk about him not allowing her to keep presents that were given. Sometimes heads of state receive some presents.
It is also presumed that president's children or family are very rich, and we can also assume that past presidents, we could see that their children are well-to-do.
Yes.
So are you not rich?
Okay, that's
President
a good question.
Daughter.
Yes, I'm not rich, but I'm rich in many other things. So if I need to do something, I find a way of doing it. The goodwill towards our father's legacy, I think, is our wealth.
Okay.
Because if I need to do something, I will do it. I find the support, I find the collaboration. So, for example, I'm in the process we haven't started, of setting up a coconut processing factory.
Fantastic.
in my old constituency in the Western region. And that's a goodwill that makes it possible for people to partner me, to lead me to the right organizations for loans and so forth. So we are wealthy. We are wealthy in many, many ways. And I think, what is that old adage? A good name is better than riches or something. That is so true. I speak from experience.
I think this brings to a question that she's trying to put up some factory. Is it a factory, right?
Yeah, a processing, yes.
Right. Okay,
yes.
So your father left a lot of projects.
Absolutely.
Yes, and which of them you feel so sad that that or those projects are now collapsed?
My dear, all of them. Because, all those factories, agri-industries and others, they were part of the development plan, the 7-year development plan. Even Akosombo was constructed to feed these industries with power. So all of them were essential. All of them were important because they were based on things we produce and we just add value to them. So that was the thrust of the 7-year development plan. Rapid industrialization, linking education with agriculture, with industry. So perfect setup for a developing country. So every single one of them, if you go from northeast, if you find out, you see that it was valid, relevant and viable because it was right where you produce the raw material. That's where you set up a factory. And rural Ghana needs industries because that's where you have the expanse, the space, everything. So if rural Ghana, the day rural Ghana becomes productive with greater economic activity, things will be well with Ghana. And it's the same all over the continent. We are blessed with land, with fertile land, but even the huge Sahara Desert, I remember our father in his 63 speech to the OAU, he says, we can make the Sahara bloom with verdant vegetation. Then at that time. So it was industrialization, but also greening our space. So not the industrialization that would ravage our land and our space. So there we were way ahead. We were already thinking of climate change, of, producing everything that we need. And that is still valid today. Right. Here we are today, decades later, we are still thinking of that. How are we going to industrialize? And how can we facilitate to the the entrepreneurs? How can we lead them into manufacturing rather than just trading, How can we facilitate, help them, advise, encourage them, incentivize them to go into manufacturing? Because that's the one thing that will change our country and continent. And our father added another message or advice. He said, it will be difficult for us to do it on our own because of the way the global economy works and because we are so dependent on exporting our raw material. And so he said, we must build our industries together with other African countries. Economic integration.
So I'll come back to family, but later.
Yes.
How is CPP?
Oh dear, I don't know. I've moved way beyond political parties. In fact, it is my fervent wish to see Ghana ruled by the best minds, irrespective of party. Definite, because we have very good, skillful, visionary people. But if we continue to go along party lines, we will never be able to bring the best minds together around a table to solve our problems. So I want us to move beyond that. And it will happen. Of course, there are many constraints, but it is possible. It has happened in other countries. And even if you look at, strangely enough, look at a country like Switzerland, where every president, it alternates the presidency. Every year there's a new president. Can you imagine that? Well, I can. So we need to be more inclusive. We need to move away from the winner takes all. And we just need to sit together. We have the people. We have the skills. We just need to break away from that party politics when it comes to building our nation.
Today is Nkrumah's birthday. Let's stick to Nkrumah.
Yes.
Let's stick to
yes. But it's his spirit.
The spirit
that is giving it. Yes,
I know.
It's his spirit.
Now let's come back to Daddy.
Okay.
Everybody loves Daddy.
Sure.
Daddy pampered you. But probably there's something Daddy was doing that you didn't like as a little girl. You look at it like that, Daddy, that what you're doing, I don't like it.
Well, I remember he used to insist on giving us this tablespoon of honey. And when we were little, we hated sweets.
Okay.
But,
wow.
So he would be running after us with this honey, which was like, and we are running behind chairs trying to hide. So yes, definitely, I didn't like that spoon.
Was he a strict father?
I can't say he was strict because I think he wanted to make the best out of every moment he spent with us because, as you can appreciate, he was very busy. So he wasn't always there. Right. But when he was there, he gave us some time and he, as I said, he just allowed us to be who we are.
What about Mommy?
Yeah, Mommy maybe was stricter because, of course, she had more interaction with us. Yes, we were not spoiled. That's one thing I can. Yes, we were not spoiled because they were both, modest people, father and mother. They were modest people who just wanted to be like everyone else. So they were not. They brought us up this way. I remember one interesting incident when we went back to Egypt after the illegal overthrow of our father's government. And the first, I think, few years, we were given security, actually. We had security personnel, even to take us to school, even to stay within...
In Egypt?
Yes, in Egypt, because there was we were told that there was a threat on our father's life in Conakry, of course. That's why we couldn't meet. We couldn't travel. He couldn't come. We were told. That's what we were told, that it was dangerous. But also in Egypt itself, in Guinea, we needed some security. At least that's what was told to us. So I remember at one time, one of our guards was a very, God forgive me, ugly. You can say an ugly man in the eyes of a child.
Okay.
I saw this man, but he was dark like us. We are dark in Egypt. We are like the Nubians.
You are dark.
You are dark?
Yes, I know you cannot. Maybe when we are in the sun. But you know, Egyptians come in various colors.
Right.
Anyway, but from the south, the Egyptians from the south are our color and darker.
Okay.
From Aswan, look, so those beautiful places. So anyway, so I go to school and my friend says, "Oh, but who's that?" Some of the children. "Is this your father?" And I said, "No, my father is very handsome. This is not my..." So I go home and I'm like so angry. And I tell my mother, "I don't want this man to come with us. He's ugly and everybody thinks it's my father. And I have to tell them he's not." And mother, instead of sympathizing with me, she gave me a smack. She said, "How dare you say this man who's protecting you is an ugly man?" And I never forgot that. Because, you know, I realized immediately what I had done. And these kind of things, you know, they somehow give you a different perspective. Yeah. So this is how we were brought up. You know, we were, and those principles were ingrained in us, and they never leave you.
I just want to know if your father was a vegetarian, because looking at his body structure, it seems like somebody who was not eating meat.
Oh, no, I think he ate everything, but he wasn't a big eater.
Okay.
He wasn't a big eater, I think. Maybe that explains it.
And,
but no, he ate everything. He loved our local food. He ate our local food most of the time with his hands, which fascinated me. Yes, yes, I would be watching him.
What's his favorite food?
Abunubunu. He loved.
Oh, really?
I hear when he used to go to Brongahafu, he will ask the women to get the good snades and make a good.
How do you know Abunubunu yourself?
I love it because it's green and green is a beautiful
And are you
color.
able to prepare Abunubunu?
I'm afraid, no, not a good one. I know how it's done. But you know, now I have to spoil myself a bit. So younger women cook for me.
Then you can go to...
Where?
Rere. The rere soup. Do you know rere?
No, yes. Is it the...
It's also a light soup, but...
Yeah, I know. But the one with... help me. What is in it?
It's like a groundnut kind of soup.
Yes,
it's a different type of nut.
The nuts, it's like not the seeds of melon.
It's
no,
something similar,
like agush, the seeds of
like
something.
Sort of.
Yes, but I've had it.
Yeah.
And I like it.
Samia, I don't know why we spoken for probably about close to 30 minutes or more. When we mentioned your mother, you got emotional. Why?
Yeah, I always get emotional when I talk about both of them, actually. When I talk about them from a personal point of view. You see, for me, they are my parents, my dad, my mom, but they are also these figures which symbolize much more than what they were humanly. So yes, so when I think of the human side, I'm thinking, I think because, to answer your question, I didn't understand it at the time, but as a woman, growing up and becoming a woman myself, I could see that she paid the ultimate price. She sacrificed. You know, they were married for only 8 years. I mean, they were together, not married. They were together for only 8 years. So that's a young, beautiful woman, and she was left with 3 children. But that's how it is. That's how it was. I mean, that is the price we paid for our independence. And it's a price we are still paying, you know, to become economically independence, to raise the standard of living of the people. I always tell people when we speak, it entails sacrifice. Some people have to make up their mind and sacrifice.
Did your mommy remarry?
No, she never did.
She never did?
Absolutely. So that gives you an idea. I mean, that's another thing. No, I mean, you know, that maybe it's a generational thing, but I don't want to say that because it's not. I think it's just. I think she took the legacy really seriously, and she couldn't contemplate the thought of marrying after our father. But of course, that must have been so hard for her. So,
how old was Mommy when Daddy died?
How old
was Mommy when Daddy died?
Okay, she wasn't even 40. She was in her late 30s because, yes, she was about 24, 25 when they married, so add 8 years to that. So like okay, that was the coup, but when he died, he passed on 6 years after the coup.
Let me ask you this emotional question.
Please go
Have
ahead.
you ever questioned God why he took Daddy away so early?
Oh, never, because like I keep on saying, we are spiritual beings, so not being on earth doesn't mean you are not there. You know, for those of us who believe that we continue to live forever, he's not dead. You know, nobody dies. And particularly when you have impacted positively on the lives of many Ghanaians, Africans all over the world, not just in the continent, because he embraced what we call today the African diaspora or the global African family. So we don't die, and our influence, our guidance continues to help and advise and enrich those of us.
Has he ever appeared
Maybe we
in your
cannot
dream?
talk like this in person.
Has he ever appeared in your dream?
Oh yes, several times. I mean, whenever I had some momentous, very not difficult or very big decision to make, particularly when I was a bit younger, like when I was heavily pregnant and I found out I'm going to have a boy, and so I decided immediately after that dream to name him after, you know, our father, because I remember saying in the dream, look at what's happening to me, you know. And he said, oh, as for you, Yaba, you are a strong girl, which he always advised me to be. So yes, from time to time, even when I was working in London, after several years of work, and I decided to go back to school to complete my university education, he appeared in a very powerful dream, because I was leaving a good, well-paid job with a bank to go back to school, and, you know, and become a poor student. And he said, you know what to do. So so yes, I've had that. But as I grew older, rather than appearing to me, I mean, because I feel I've understood better his vision and mission, and I feel it's just time to revisit and recover his work, his thoughts, so that we can see what are we going to do with that gift. I consider him a prophet, an African prophet, someone who came to give us some guidelines, some advice that is still relevant and valid today. So now I feel much stronger and more certain about the validity of his work. So I don't dream about him that much anymore. It's time for action, I think. It's time for us to impart this to the younger generation like you, and we move. It's possible.
People often hold grudges. Of course, when your dad was taken away, you were young.
Sure.
Did you have any grudge towards the people that did this?
No, not at all. Because when you understand the politics of it, you don't take it personally. We understand why what happened. We even now know, with the declassified documents coming, we know the extent of the foreign interference.
There was foreign interference?
Absolutely.
From which country?
From the CIA, the Western, what we call Western intelligence, including or spearheaded by the CIA. I mean, it's all coming out now, and more will come in the years to come. Someone just gave me the book White Malice by Susan Williams, a researcher, which the author said it started talking about she started writing it with the intention of analyzing the friendship between Kwame Nkrumah and Patrice Lumumba of the Congo. But as she got more and more involved, it ended up being the CIA's interference in African countries, newly independent nations. So now we know it was just an attempt to stop a newly independent country with a nationalistic, patriotic, visionary leader from gaining economic independence, and influencing others. Because that was the thing. We had to change the colonial, our father used to call it the miserable colonial structure of our economies, where we just sell, raw materials and have to import very expensive stuff, equipment, technology, rather than learn how to do them by ourselves. So it's now that we understand that I can't hold grudges, because that was an era, it happened, and we know why it happened. We've analyzed it. We are in a different era, and we need everybody. I am saying we need consensus. We need to build consensus amongst different kinds of thinking, different parties. So how can I say I want us to build consensus and hold grudges? There's a contradiction there.
Yeah.
You see? I'm willing to speak and work with people who think differently, as long as, not for the aim of just working with people who think different, as long as we agree to move forward in a certain way that will benefit all of us. And we can find common ground. You can always find common ground. It's hard work, it takes sacrifice, it takes a little compromise, but we can find it. And this is the time for it.
Okay, of course. I think we have some comments coming in, so we'll quickly take some of the comments. Back to you can read a comment. Okay,
this one from Nana Kwajo Asare. Your father might have been a good father. You have grown up now.
Oh.
Was your leader for this country? Okay, so let me take it.
Was he a good leader? I think he's saying, was he a good leader?
Very sincere. Okay.
Oh, absolutely, Nana. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. Yeah. I wouldn't be here. In fact, I'm saying we must learn from him. We must recover him. Read him. Read Africa Must Unite. Read the 7-year development plan. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm enjoying the show in my room in Nsima. My name is Francis from Allen. Can you help me with the
Zuli. Allen Zuli.
Okay,
that's in the Jomoro
constituency. Honorable Samia is a woman of kind. She has helped so many people in Jomoro municipality in terms of education. I'm also a beneficiary.
Okay, yeah, he wants
instead of a victim.
Yes, I think.
They should greet her for me. You should greet her for me, Francis from Allen J.
Allen Zuli.
Allen Zuli. Okay.
Allen Zuli.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I just wish God can bring him back to Ghana. We need him to make things right again for us.
So
was what we should.
And mercifully, everything he said or thought is in writing. I mean, that's the great thing about Nkrumah. His literally executrix said, she told me once, he was a maker and writer of history. So it's there. It's there. It's not lost. It's there for us.
Please, can she clarify where Dr. Nkrumah comes from?
Oh, dear. Yes, I know. Okay, he was born in Nkrumah, but he was born in Nkrumah. That's his birthplace. But of course, his mother and father, I think the father came from Hafasini, the mother. I know there are stories of when she this, that, but she.
So not
Nkrumah was her yes, where she lived.
Long live Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Long live Ghana and Africa.
Yeah, definitely. I think at the end of the day, Nkrumah is the way, because that's how I think about it. Let's take a leaf out of his thoughts.
Samia Nkrumah, thank you so much for being here today. We are super grateful.
Most welcome.
I wanted to know...
And definitely Daddy is smiling.
I wanted to know when this is on the lighter note, when she broke her virginity, because she did say that it was, the family or the mother was very strict at that time, and they were not spoiled.
Yes. Yeah, actually, I was not young.
Oh, okay.
Serious question. I wasn't young at all.
Oh, okay.
About 26 or 7.
All right. Samia, thank you so much for being here. Super grateful.
Good question.
We'll definitely have you again.
But it pays to keep yourself for as long as you can.
It does. We'll have you again.
Thank you, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So, Ghanaians, your final words before you go to Ghanaians?
Sorry?
Final words before you go. What do you want to tell Ghanaians who are watching?
I think yes. Let's think beyond political parties. I mean, I can't take politics out of my mind, because I think everything is political. Let's go beyond political parties. Let's build consensus around what we need to do to manufacture, to industrialize, to green our country. Let's go. We can do it.
We can do it, and those are the words of Samia Nkrumah, daughter of our own Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.